Hi, welcome back to Your Future, Your Finances. I'm your host again, Brian Kuhn. We're talking more about estate planning and elder law. My guest for this segment is Jason Frank of Frank & Share. Welcome to the show.
It is my pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Tell us a little bit about your firm and background.
It is a firm that focuses on elder law, which is sort of the intersection of age and law, and covers the broadest spectrum possible of the various traditional areas of law, everything from contracts to health care decision making to criminal fraud, abuse, torts, nursing home malpractice, anything and everything, all the traditional areas of law as they intersect with a particular demographic part of the population, seniors, and necessarily some who are more vulnerable than others due to their disabling conditions. Necessarily out of that base in elder law, our practice expanded to cover people with disabilities of all ages. So we do elder law, we do special needs planning, estate administration, estate planning. It's definitely a focused niche market, but it's one that I think, do well in. It started off with me in a basement office, and at this point we're 10 lawyers and the various support staff necessary to keep something like that running.
Fantastic.
And
it's
pretty proud of it.
And it's a big niche, so to speak, aging. The population is aging. A lot of topics surrounding nursing homes and avoiding their costs.
Well, long-term care, and the much of the focus of the practice is eligibility for long-term care, whether it's through long-term care insurance or through the Medicaid long-term care program, which at this point in Maryland, I would say not correctly, but at this point in Maryland, really only available for the vast majority of people in nursing homes. One of the things about elder law is that it is tremendously a function of public policy. And for better or for worse, we have, in our firm, been very much involved in public policy, everything from establishing the program that, albeit not very well, but does allow people to receive long-term care services in the community. It's a statute that my wife and I worked on 17 years ago, to changes in guardianship statutes, to the law that specifically blesses special needs trusts in Maryland, something we accomplished about 4 or 5 years ago that I'm particularly proud of.
Fantastic.
So because elder law is so much a function of public policy, we had to get involved in it, and we do. We created a pooled asset special needs trust, a nonprofit, First Maryland Disability Trust. So we've been really involved in the full panoply of issues that come up in an elder law, special needs, estate planning practice.
The normal process of dealing with a nursing home or planning ahead has something to do with a 5-year wait and doing something with assets.
Well, there is a 5-year look back on asset transfers when you're applying for Medicaid in a long-term care setting. That rule doesn't apply between spouses. So people think that they can't do anything if they're married, and there's the well spouse is looking at a life of penurious loss. Not true. The look back on asset transfers does not apply between spouses. And even if you have a single person looking to see that their life savings goes where they want it to go, where they always intended it to go, which is typically to the loved ones and their family and close friends, there are mechanisms within the Medicaid statute, even within the 5 years, to see to it that people can save something. It's not that they're saving it. They get to say whether 100% of their money goes to the folks in the business office of the nursing home, or half the money goes there and the other half goes where they want it. And, we look to them to give us the guidance as to what they want. If they're not capable, we look at the documents that they have established in their wills or trusts that tell us where they want the money that we are able to save, shelter, protect, whatever good verb you want to use.
When you say there's no 5-year look back between spouses, so that means a spouse who has found themselves cognitively impaired or elderly.
Or just disabled to the point that they require
nursing home
care.
Could give all of their their stuff, their assets to their spouse
Yes.
and immediately qualify.
Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that, thankfully, which is why we have a practice. But yes, they can shift all the assets to the well spouse, who then has to spend down to the Medicaid eligibility rules that applies to spouses.
I see.
Basically, the well spouse can have a house, car, rental property, and about $120,000 in other assets, assuming they had at least twice that to start when the sick spouse went into the nursing home. But there are a number of methods of trying to protect assets in a spousal situation. Some of them can result in pretty quick eligibility for benefits and a quick end to those $10,000, $15,000 a month nursing home bills.
Fantastic.
Probably the biggest one we use. Well, first of all, we tell people to pay debt. All right, a lot of folks come in and they still have mortgages or home equity lines or reverse mortgages. They've been struggling to get through keeping the sick spouse at home. So the first thing we tell people to do is to pay debt. Medicaid is a gross asset test, not a net asset test. So one of the ways that you can spend down to Medicaid eligibility is by paying off debt. And then there are things like prepaying funerals, buying a new car to get rid of that one from '88 that only has 37,000 miles on it. It's time. But probably the biggest thing that we use are single premium immediate annuities, which for Medicaid purposes convert assets that you have to get rid of, that you have to spend down, into income that belongs to the well spouse. So you have pretty quick eligibility for benefits.
Fantastic.
And it has been in federal law since 1993. This is not something new or secret or hidden. None of the stuff that we do is in any way hidden or secret or unrevealed. It's all completely consistent with the rules.
And accepted.
Yes.
Yep. Lots to cover. We are going to talk about special needs trusts and helping those who may have a disability of some kind. More about Medicaid. We'll be right back. We're talking with Jason Frank of Frank & Share. You're watching Your Future, Your Finances.